The Untitled people of the Alaska Peninsula have described the creatures they live with for thousands of years. Today, languages are diverse, but the people and creatures remain, living in and around the Izembek National Wildlife Refuge, a protected area on the traditional territories of the Untitled people. The abundance of life spans across a beautiful and rich landscape. The refuge sits along a string of dormant and active volcanoes, some towering thousands of feet above the sea. At their base, tundra valleys, crisscrossed by a never-ending flow of streams, are where some of Alaska's most iconic creatures thrive. And Eisenbeck's vast lagoon, a massive source of nutrients, is critical to both year-round residents and some of the planet's great long-distance travelers. Although the smallest national wildlife refuge in Alaska, it's home to an abundance of biodiversity that's unique, even in this wild corner of the world. Located at the western tip of the Alaska Peninsula, the Izembek National Wildlife Refuge spreads across 310,000 acres of diverse lands. Established in 1960, its eastern border follows the ridgeline along a semicircle of mountains. From there, the refuge extends west to encompass the 150-square-mile Eisenbeck Lagoon, rolling tundra, and wind-swept coastline. In 1972, the state of Alaska created Izembek State Game Refuge to encompass the National Refuge and beyond. The area is managed by both the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. It's August, and the refuge basks in long Alaskan summer days. The lagoon teems with life. River otters are often found in groups. Families are made up of a female and her pups, with or without an adult male. Eisenbeck is home to the world's only population of non-migrating tundra swans, eating a variety of underwater plants and small arthropods. Nearby, curious harbor seals patrol the water. Other, bigger sea mammals have arrived at the lagoon. Growing up to 12 feet long and weighing nearly 2 tons, a giant male walrus pulls itself out of the water to haul out on a sandbank. Pacific walrus are the largest marine mammals with flippers in Alaska. They gather in large herds. Both males and females grow long, distinctive tusks. They also both sport the highly sensitive whiskers that they use to search the seafloor for their food. But bulls stand out by their bigger size and the many large bumps on their neck and shoulders called bosses. Walrus haul out on land when they can't find sea ice to rest on. This herd could be here as late as November, when sea ice begins to form farther north. The lagoon's bounty sustains many creatures. Bald eagles seek out the fish here. They scan the water, looking for easy prey. Eisenbeck is home to 4 of the 5 species of Pacific salmon. And from July to September, they return to the refuge to spawn. Arriving from the Bering Sea and North Pacific, hundreds of thousands of salmon make their way up the rivers and streams into the Joshua Green River watershed. These chum salmon fight the currents to reproduce in the very same places they were born. They bring a bounty of nutrients with them. Once the journey is complete, their decaying bodies help fertilize the streams and surrounding land. But not all will be successful in their reproductive mission. For brown bears, feeding on the salmon is vital to their long-term survival. A male brown bear in Eisenbeck can grow to 1,500 pounds and needs to raise its fat stores for the long winter. The refuge supports a large bear population, and during the salmon run, bear densities can reach as many as 6 per mile along some streams. This female still cares for and protects her twin cubs. They'll depend on mom for 2 to 3 years. When they separate, female cubs tend to stay close to where they were raised, while male cubs leave the area. Bears have relatively small home ranges here. Habitat in the Joshua Green River watershed is ideal, a combination of abundant food and little human disturbance. But what makes Izembek unique in the world is the unparalleled habitat that it provides for the birds that seek refuge here. The close proximity of Izembek Lagoon coastal wetlands, and Izembek Lagoon play an important role in the life of millions of birds. Tides, ice, and sea conditions can vary dramatically between these areas. Birds can select the most beneficial habitat and resting sites available as conditions deteriorate or improve. In 1986, Izembek Refuge was recognized as critical to the health of international bird migrations and was the first wetland of international importance designated in the U.S. Protected by a line of barrier islands, the lagoon contains one of the largest eelgrass beds in the world. It's a long, lush, and nutritious water plant that forms vast underwater meadows. The size and health of these underwater grasslands are the basis of a far-reaching, dynamic ecosystem. Eelgrass creates the building blocks of a food chain that supports creatures in the water, land, and in the air. The lagoon is a key stopover for migrating birds. Long valued by Alaska natives for its subsistence importance, emperor geese migrate through here by the tens of thousands. They nest primarily in western Alaska and will winter here along the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island, and the Aleutian Islands. But of all the world's travelers, Eisenbeck may be most important to the Pacific Black Brant. It's a smaller, darker relative of the Canada goose. It's now October, and around 150,000 brant feed and rest here each fall. Virtually the entire population of the species. They'll spend up to 8 weeks fueling up on the eelgrass, most preparing for a non-stop trip to wintering areas in Mexico and protected bays along the Pacific coast of the U.S. It's around a 3,300-mile flight, during which they lose more than 30% of their body weight. But an increasing portion of the population is now staying put at Eisenbeck. Warmer Alaska winters are leading to more ice-free eelgrass lagoons. Scientists are monitoring what impacts this trend will have on the brant and their eelgrass habitat. Like the other 15 national wildlife refuges in Alaska, Eisenbeck maintains and protects intact ecosystems that have been around for millennia. The cycles of life remain. By mid-November, brown bears move towards their upland dens. Most hibernate, while some may remain active all winter. A pack of wolves sounds off across the tundra. They may be following the caribou, their favorite prey, into lower-lying areas. Winter is arriving, bringing its own beauty to the refuge. As one year gives way to another, for the descendants of the Ononak and for visitors to the area, Eisenbeck has again provided the essence to support life near and far. It remains a refuge, conserving and protecting land and wildlife, and also the traditions of the people here, both now and in the future.